While waiting for Clint Eastwood's Juror No. 2 to be released for video on demand, one classic 1957 legal drama can satiate the appetite of people eagerly waiting for the hit movie. Since the film's announcement in 2023, Juror No. 2 has been advertised as the last Clint Eastwood movie. While Eastwood hasn't confirmed this rumor, the possibility has brought more attention to the movie and garnered excitement from fans. Unfortunately, Warner Bros. Pictures made the bewildering decision to release Juror No. 2 in fewer than 50 US movie theaters, with the situation being dubbed "The Curious Case of the Missing Clint Eastwood Film" by The Guardian. Unfortunately, fans of Clint Eastwood will have to wait at least a couple more weeks for Juror No. 2 to hit video on demand, and it could be over a month for it to release on Maximum. The anticipation will only continue to grow, too, as the movie has been a surprising success at the box office, and critics have responded overwhelmingly positively. Luckily, one classic legal drama from 1957 with remarkable similarities is readily available to watch in the meantime. 12 Angry Men is considered the best legal drama of all time. 12 Angry Men is the perfect movie to watch while waiting for Juror No. 2. While waiting for Juror No. 2 to be available to the wider public on VOD, viewers might be interested in watching other movies within the same subgenre. 12 Angry Men is the perfect choice because it's widely considered the best legal drama of all time and a masterclass in American cinema. The film follows a group of 12 men who sit on a jury for a first-degree murder case against an 18-year-old man who may or may not have killed his father, depending on the individual interpretation of the evidence. 12 Angry Men immediately establishes the high stakes in the story. If the group returns with a guilty verdict, the judge states that the defendant will be sentenced to death. After a preliminary vote, the result is 11-1 in favor of conviction, so the group must discuss the evidence while confined to a small room in the sweltering heat, a setting that adds tension. Like Juror No. 2, 12 Angry Men is noteworthy not just for its compelling story, but also for its incredible cinematography, which makes the movie just as visually engaging as it is narratively powerful. 12 Angry Men and Juror No. 2 confront the way biases impact the legal system. Every character in 12 Angry Men and Juror No. 2 have their own biases. Justin sits on the jury in Juror No. 2. Despite its age, 12 Angry Men is just as important as ever, bringing up biases that can influence outcomes in the legal system. The jurors in 12 Angry Men bring their own experiences, preconceived values, and ideas about justice into the jury room. Some biases, like Juror No. 3's issues with his son and Juror No. 10's racism, are easy to clock. However, Juror No. 8, the protagonist of the movie, has values about justice that impact the outcome just as much as the others. The difference is that his biases match the generally accepted ideals of the American justice system. 67 years after the classic legal drama, Juror No. 2 makes the same points about jury bias in a modern framework. Each of the jurors' backgrounds, experiences, and prejudices play into their deliberation. Harold's experience as a retired veterans detective means he focuses on different details than the other jurors. Justin fights to free Scythe because of his guilty conscience. Meanwhile, Marcus doesn't want to acquit him because he believes the defendant to be a gang member. All of these jurors' biases go into the jury deliberation process. 12 Angry Men also makes the point about the witnesses having underlying motives and biases that influence their testimony during the trial. The old man could want to be heard and appreciated, making him willing to testify. The woman across the street is unintentionally deceptive by removing her glasses, influencing the veracity and believability of her testimony. Moreover, the defense attorney's workload influences how he defends their client, further influencing every person involved in the case. In Juror No. 2, this issue is just as much at play. Killebrew eventually realizes that the police primed the witness to pick Scythe out of a lineup, making the accuracy of his testimony questionable. Moreover, as passionate as Killebrew is about the case, she tied her election campaign to it, giving her an ulterior motive to fight harder for a conviction. On the other hand, Resnick is so overworked that he makes careless mistakes with significant consequences. Ultimately, these films both emphasize the fallibility of humans involved in the legal system, even when individuals have honorable intentions. Juror No. 2 follows in 12 Angry Men's footsteps by exploring reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt is a cornerstone of the American judicial system. At the heart of 12 Angry Men is an important question: what is reasonable doubt? Each of the jurors in the classic film has an idea in their head about what makes them believe the defendant is guilty or innocent. However, reasonable doubt is an amorphous standard that looms throughout the whole story. Ultimately, by refusing to confirm whether the young man is factually guilty at the end of 12 Angry Men, the movie forces the audience to ask themselves the same questions about guilt and innocence. Clint Eastwood's Juror No. 2 takes a similar approach to the topic of reasonable doubt. The jurors in the Kendall Carter murder case must grapple with the evidence against James Scythe, figuring out the line between guilt and innocence. The movie leaves it maddeningly ambiguous for the audience whether Justin Kemp accidentally killed her or James Scythe murdered his girlfriend. The movie provides a strong argument for both possibilities, ultimately leaving it up to the audience to interpret the situation and examine the scenarios for reasonable doubt. While Juror number 2 will probably never be as prolific as 12 Angry Men, these narrative and thematic similarities make the movies kindred spirits.